against Carolina, all hell breaks loose. They have one of the best players on the field in terms of Saquon Barkley. I like Philly's defense. That's it for me, but I think Philly can run it. The Eagles, the home team, and the over in a big way.
It's football full circle with Ben Stevens and Joe Lisi. Weekdays noon Eastern, 9 a.m. Pacific on the SportsGrid Radio Network.
The new SportsGrid app is now available on iOS and the App Store. Experience the ultimate sports betting companion that provides personalized content from your favorite hosts. In-depth matchup previews, game and prop picks, live odds, stats, scores, and more. All in one place. And of course, on the SportsGrid app, you can tune into our live television and radio coverage anytime. On the go, wherever you are. Download the SportsGrid app on the iOS App Store now. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
Ladies and gentlemen,
Please welcome.
It's the opening kickoff with Carver and Lisi.
All right, here we go. Carver and Lisi with you. SportsGrid Radio, Sirius XM, channel 159. Great to have everybody with us on a Wednesday night on the grid. Lot going on. As always, big football show tonight. Big football show with NFL Week 16 and the college football playoff on the horizon. That's right. 1 game Friday night, 3 games on Saturday. Tons of action here for your holiday season as we're now just 1 week away from the big guy coming, Christmas. Only a week away for us. So a lot to do. We have bowl games tonight going on right now. Everybody loves Boca Raton this time of year. They go up there, and they got the LA Bowl later on if you can find some guys to actually play in the game. They do have one later, and several other things that will cross our paths as we continue to move on. Mike Carver with you. And yes, he's here tonight, the one, the only, the encyclopedia of college football. Go for the 2, Joe Lisi. Hi, Joe.
Hi, Carver. How are you? A pleasure. On this beautiful Wednesday, we got college bowl games. Western Kentucky and James Madison. We got Cal, UNLV. We got him. We got college football playoff talk, NFL talk. Doesn't get better than this. I'm chomping at the bit, baby. I missed you.
Yeah, I missed you too, Joe. It happens so infrequently now that, yes, I always miss you when we get back together and do these things.
That's the little digs. I'm tired of them.
You're very busy.
Digs.
You're very busy.
Yeah, I know, but you make it sound like I'm blowing you off. You make it sound like I'm just choosing not to be with you.
If you would let me say, it's not necessarily like, it's your fault or anything. It is the way that it is. It is what it is, as we like to say. We have 2 games tonight, Joe. Let's start there. This Western Kentucky James Madison game, which is going to the 4th quarter. Now, I saw Western Kentucky get in the end zone, but I think they threw a flag, Joe. And when they come back here from this timeout, I'm seeing 3rd and goal from the 26 is what they're going to be dealing with. So that's not good for the over, considering the over ain't hitting anyway. But still, you never know. You get some zany 4th quarter at some overtimes, things could happen. But they had a long play, Joe, down inside the 5. And they weren't able to bang it in after that. So they're probably going to end up with a field goal and at least tying this game at 17 with James Madison. And this game, Joe, like many college bowl games nowadays, it's just bones for the buzzards in terms of who's actually playing in the game. There's just a billion guys out for both teams. It hurts the quality of the product, Joe.
It does. Now, last night's game I nailed dead on. I hit a parlay. So I watched that game play out. Love the over. Hennigan and Garrett Green played in that game, and it was points aplenty. These 2 games tonight, defensive-minded team in terms of James Madison, I still think they'll cover. This field goal is no guarantee. I don't know if it's a wet track, but high grass, and there's no guarantee that they're going to make this field goal on 4th third and goal. He gets inside the 20. So we'll see how it plays out. But even if he kicks the field goal, you're at 17 up, and then James Madison can still get a touchdown, and then they push or win it by margin, right? Depending if you got under 7. So we'll see. I still lean to James Madison. The other game I like, Cal, and the other game I like the dead under there. So we'll see.
Well,
I played the over last night. I'm on both of these unders tonight.
That game's really swung because when me and you did the picks last week, wasn't Cal a 1.5 point favorite a week ago when me and you did the picks?
I think there was some thought that Fernando Mendoza would play in that game.
Yeah, now he's not.
And now he's not. And Chandler
the
Rogers is
hurt.
there. And Chandler Rogers,
hurt.
So,
they're playing some third stringer that they got from Ohio or something like that.
Yeah, but you know what? I think it's going to be a rushing attack. UNLV runs it anybody, right? Runs it anyway, right? And Jaden Ott, I took a shot on him tonight. Now, numbers-wise, he's been pathetic. He gets around 10 to 13 touches, but I altered him as high as 90 tonight with the under. So I have Ott at 70, 80, and 90 because I think Cal will run it. And I think Cal is just a little bit better defensively. So I'll take a shot with them. Did the kid make it?
Yeah, he did. So 17 up here in the Boca Bowl. So 17 up with a whole quarter to play. Minus 3.5 for JMU Live and a 44.5 total.
What was the pre-total? I don't remember what the total was.
At kick tonight, I can tell you that. Hold on one second.
Because I know James Madison was 7.5, 7.
Right. Where did that go, Joe? I had it in front of me. Give me a moment here. 50.5 was the pregame.
I mean, now, you get overtime, you still might get the get the total.
The problem is, I have, or at least for me and you, I took when we did this last Friday. 52.5 is what I got last Friday. So I got a real bad number from when we made the selections, and you're actually on a under, Joe, 52.5 for this game for me and you.
Right.
Is where we're on for that. And by the way, you're out blazing 3-0.
Whoa!
3-0 start for you.
Hot soup.
Now, just remember, last year in the bowls,
what was I? Started 15-4.
You started the bowls last year. I have it here.
15-4.
Here it comes. I'm gonna get it out because it was
hot soup.
It was quite the comeback for me in bowl season. You started. I've got you at one point. You were 13-4, and then you were 19-5.
Wow!
In the bowl season,
blazing.
You were 19-5, and I was 13-11. And then I went on an absolute tear, and I ended up getting you. I finished 28-13, and you finished 26-15. So you had a very
great,
bad.
No, I mean we made people money in the bowl season.
We had a great bowl season last year. We had a great bowl season, both of us. You were hot early. I was hot late for the bowl season a year ago. So maybe we get that again this year, and we'll see if I can make some waves because I got out to a rough start. Man, that South Alabama that covered at 8.5. That was brutal in that game for me. So. We do have some bowl action tonight that we're going to go through. And, Joe, we'll start to talk about these games for this weekend, including, of course, Notre Dame and Indiana on Friday night. I love the quote from Signetti today, Joe. I'm sure you saw that. He's like, I hope there is 2 feet of snow out there. My quarterback's from Canada, so he'll be all right. So there's talk of it's going to be cold. We know that. And there's going to be some snow on the ground.
I'm curious to know. Okay.
Yeah.
You see now you're playing a rope-a-dope. You're coming. I love the quote by Signetti. You're not betting Indiana. You know you're a diehard in the trenches with your boy Marcus Freeman and the crew. There's no shot you're rooting against them.
I'm not rooting against them. I think Notre Dame's going to win. I wouldn't lay 7.5 with them. 7.5. I wouldn't lay with Notre Dame. I wouldn't do it.
I think the game's a dead under.
I think the game's a dead under too, but I think the Irish win if the game's a dead under. I think the Irish win.
More like 24-20. Irish win.
Yeah, but that's exactly like I'm not going to lay it with them. I wouldn't lay it with Notre Dame. I just want them to win, Joe. I just want them to win the game.
You see, I have a crypto play on Saturday.
Oh, the crypto plays are coming out. The crypto plays for Saturday. Now, we will do picks at some point in these 2 hours, Joe. We will do the one game tomorrow, which is awful, that New Orleans Bowl with Georgia Southern and Sam Houston, and we'll do the Friday night games tonight as well. Even though we'll be on, because actually it's Friday afternoon, Joe. Tulane and Florida playing Friday afternoon at 3:30, so we have some afternoon action. Actually, the Ohio game's at noon on Friday. We got a lot of afternoon action coming up this week. Carver and Lisi, SportsGrid Radio, Sirius XM 159. We're just getting going on the grid. We're back after.
Know someone with a drinking or drug problem? Learn how to get sober after we share these stories.
I was 35 with 2 beautiful children when my life and addiction started to spiral out of control. After my divorce, I went into a depression cycle and started drinking more often and using prescription drugs. After my second DWI and arrest, my ex-husband threatened to take our children away from me.
I was 17 when I became addicted to heroin and meth. I thought I could quit on my own, but I couldn't. It hit me when I was arrested.
Get sober now. Your private insurance may cover costs and we'll get you here. It's simple. Just call Elite Rehab Placement right now. Please, don't wait. Your life matters to us.
800-959-6348. 800-959-6348. 800-959-6348. Call right now before it's too late. That's 800-959-6348.
Pharrell, Coast to Coast.
Oh my God, they're not going to cover against a bare naked ladies team. Are you kidding me? They had Fat Mo Wagner playing. They were in the game the entire night. The Bucks almost effed this up too. Ever since they got that Doc Rivers, they've been a disaster.
It's Pharrell Coast to Coast with Scott Pharrell. Weekdays, 3 p.m. Eastern, noon Pacific. On the home of the winning edge, the SportsGrid Radio Network.
The sharpest football contest show in the land, the Las Vegas Football Contest Show, focuses on Circus Sports Million, Circus Survivor, and the Westgate Super Contest, handicapping the games and releasing our contest picks every week of the season. With 2 former Super Contest winners, Grady Cannon and James Salinas, a former NFL player, Mike Pritchard, and over $1 million in contest prize money won combined, the Las Vegas Football Contest Show will have you prepared this season like none other.
Days are getting cooler and shadows are getting longer.
You know what that means? It's football weather. So bundle up and keep it here for all the latest strategies and gridiron information. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid. This is the SportsGrid Radio Network.
And we're back. Carver and Lisi, SportsGrid Radio, Sirius XM 159. James Madison, Joe, they're just ripping down the field. They're already deep into Western Kentucky territory. They're in a timeout right now. 17 up, just over 11 minutes to go in the fourth. And we'll see if James Madison, I wouldn't mind, Joe, a back and forth touchdown, get it up to 48. And then hopefully we can make some things happen with some overtime after that. Just let the game get crazy. Let's get it crazy here.
That would be nice. Let's do it. I'll take it.
Let's roll. Let's roll. What do you want to do? For me and Joe have so much to talk about because, like I said, it's usually a long amount of time between visits with us. I guess we'll start with the college, Joe, since we're doing the college. Let's do the off the field stuff too first because I know that bothers the hell out of you. You've sent me like 100 stories of transfer portal stuff, guys leaving. I got injunctions. We've got coaches doing things. There's just so much nonsense that takes away from the game, especially during this time of the year, Joe. And you know I don't like Franklin. I thought his comments on Monday about the kid going into the portal, which... I mean, Joe, it's nonsense.
It is nonsense.
Stuff is going on right now.
But why does the kid have to go? Why does the kid have to go this week? He can't go on the 28th?
The
Come
kid
on.
wants to
You
be a
see where
starting
he's going?
quarterback somewhere.
He's
He
going
wants
to
be a starting
UCF.
quarterback.
You see the schools he's looking at? You see the
No.
school, Iowa?
I'm not following Pabula's
UCF?
his
Are we
path.
serious now? I mean, come on. You're telling me UCF can't wait for you with Scott Frost? Who's running to go to UCF? Can we stop?
They want him in the building, Joe. They don't want him standing with a clipboard on Saturday playing SMU. They want him in the building.
Then when does the team matter? When does the team matter for these kids? When?
Joe, you have said several times that you want to be the commissioner of college football. Tell me how you fix this problem. How can you fix this problem? This is a problem.
With the transfer portal?
Transfer portal being now when they're... Now, I got it before when there were these dopey New Mexico Bowls and all this stuff going on. Guys went in the portal, whatever. They don't play in the game. Now you're talking about having college football playoff games this week, and then moving.
Portal can't start. The portal can't start until after the national championship game. That is it.
Then the spring semester at these schools starts then, Joe.
That's it.
You don't care.
They have the April one. They
schools
started
care.
in April. They started in April. All right. You know what? Started in April. Then just make it April. You don't want to go to school in your respective program? Leave after you graduate the final semester. They started in April, right before you bolt from town.
Well, that sounds nice, but they want them there for spring ball and spring practice.
Can't have your cake and eat it too. You can't have it either way. You want to have kids. I mean, now we have kids leaving in the most important game of the year, and we're making it sound like he's a third string or a fifth string backup. This kid came in the second half of Wisconsin, completed 11 of 14 passes for 91 yards and a touchdown, and closes the game out, and they win it by 14. You're telling me if Drew Aller gets hurt, they have nobody to turn to but their tight end, Tyler Warren, that's only thrown a pass behind Pabula? I mean, come on. What are we doing here? What are we doing?
What are we doing? I just don't like it.
I'm asking you. You don't like it? I mean, when does the team... You're telling me this kid couldn't wait until after the 28th to make the decision? See where you're at then? Come on.
It's a bad system, Joe. It's a very bad system that has that is now, more highlighted because of more important games. Now you have 11 games that decide a national champion, not 3. So there's a lot more runway that needs to be cleared out. I don't know what the answer is, to be quite honest with you. I'm not really sure, but
it's aggravating.
It's certainly aggravating for all of these, for everybody involved. It's aggravating. I saw you sent me a lot of quarterback stuff in terms of guys moving around. Did you see that Mateer's going to go to Oklahoma?
I sent you that. Yeah, that's good for him. John Mateer.
Going to make a lot of scratch.
I tell you what, that kid's got more guts than Jackson Arnold does. So, did you see the wide receiver room of LSU? I'm betting LSU to win the national championship. Nick Anderson. I mean, they got talent upon.
Yeah, but, you could have all the wide receivers in the world. If the quarterback stinks, it doesn't matter. The quarterback
He's going to be above average. He'll be above average. I bash
Ohio
the kid.
State had all the quarterbacks in the world this year.
No. Don't start.
Stinks.
Will Howard sucks. Come on.
Just like Nussmeier. Nussmeier sucks, too.
I would take Nussmeier over Howard.
Good. Washington State. And you know what? This sucks about Washington State. So they lose Dickert. He goes to Wake Forest.
Yeah. They lose the OC
quarterback. Mateer's done.
Yeah.
So they're supposed to play Syracuse in the Holiday Bowl next Friday night. They don't have a head coach. They don't have an OC. They don't have a DC. They lost 10 starters in the portal. They have 22 total players in the portal. That sounds like, Joe, that game's like steps away from going the Marshall Army route, is where that game is heading for Washington State. It sounds like they don't have anyone to play or run the program, and they have a game in 8 or 9 days.
This is such a bad look, and I would sue the Pac-12. I would sue for what the conference did to the Pac-12, to Wash State and Oregon State. They left these teams out to dry. these kids that actually played this year and had a very successful season. What do these kids do now? You're telling me Washington State has no program anymore? They have no affiliation right now with a conference. They're scrambling just to have mediocrity at this point. And the kids that did work their asses off and put that team above 500 can't even play in a bowl game because obviously the coach was upset, took a better deal at Wake Forest, and now those kids suffer. But the NCAA cares about everybody. Somebody needs a slap. Somebody needs a slap.
Carver and Lisi, SportsGrid Radio. We're back after this.
Ball is coming. Don't look like an idiot at work. Know your stuff. Football and everything else. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid. This is the SportsGrid Radio Network. SportsGrid TV and radio networks are the premier streaming video and audio channels dedicated to serving the sports wagering audience. Found on major smart TV platforms and streaming on SportsGrid Radio and SiriusXM Channel 159. SportsGrid's real-time data, expert commentary, and entertaining analysis transform viewers into informed sports enthusiasts. Our weekday radio lineup begins with the early line at 8 a.m. Eastern with Ben Stevens and Donnie Rightside. Donnie joins Kevin Walsh on Money Line at 11 a.m. Eastern, followed by Football Full Circle at noon Eastern. Kaplan and crew join the party at 1 p.m. Eastern, and Pharrell Coast to Coast keeps things rolling from 3 to 6 p.m. Eastern. Get in the mix with Kevin Walsh and Game Time Decisions at 6 p.m. Eastern. Evenings simmer with Carver and Lisi, then boils over with Gabe Moritzi on Sports Rage Late Night at 10 p.m. Eastern. To find out where to find SportsGrid that's best for you, go to sportsgrid.com. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid. Pharrell Coast to Coast.
Kirk Cousins with his first touchdown pass in 5 games, and the easiest one maybe he's had all season.
Are you listening to this guy? Kirk Cousins has been an utter disaster with the Atlanta Falcons, an utter disaster.
It's Pharrell Coast to Coast with Scott Pharrell. Weekdays, 3 p.m. Eastern, noon Pacific, on the home of the winning edge, the SportsGrid Radio Network.
The SportsGrid Radio Network presents This Date in Sports History.
In 1956, former Yankees shortstop Phil Rizzuto signs on as the team's radio and TV announcer.
Well, hi, everybody. Welcome to New York Yankee Baseball. I'm Bill.
The Scooter was a 7-time world champion and won the AL MVP in 1950 and was elected to the Hall of Fame in 1994.
And if dreams can come true for me.
For SportsGrid Radio, I'm Mike DeMurgis.
Right before your very eyes, the boys of summer are about to become the champions of fall. MLB playoffs are coming, and SportsGrid will bring you all the angles, strategies, and info. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid. This is the SportsGrid Radio Network.
And we're back. Carver and Lisi, SportsGrid Radio, SiriusXM 159. Great to have everybody with us. JMU's in the end zone, Joe, 24-17. They take the lead over Western Kentucky. Still got a lot of time left in this game, just over 9 minutes. So maybe we can get some more fireworks. You know, Joe, the total's lives only 48.5. You know, I get it. You know, they tied. It's still, it's what, 24-48? They tied a game here, Joe. It's going to go over.
Yeah.
I don't think Western Kentucky's going to come down the field and score, huh?
I still like
did the last drive.
I know. I don't trust it, though, Carver.
Yeah, I don't know. I kind of like that number in game.
Do you?
Matthias took the under 50.5. So now I really hope it goes over.
I played it a long time ago. I parlayed it with UNLV around like 1 o'clock today. So that's not in game. I played it way beforehand. So I'm sweating it.
The big UNLV double, huh? UNLV with the under. I just couldn't bring myself to do it with these games. There's just too much unknown going on here with both of them. It's very difficult, Joe, to do.
So what do you want to do?
Let's talk about games that matter, Joe. Let's talk about games that matter.
Let's
Friday
go.
night, Notre Dame and Indiana. Irish minus 7.5, 51.5 total. We'll do some picks for this before we get out of here tonight and a few of the other games. But if the game, and a lot's been made of the weather, it's the middle of December in Indiana. Like, it's going to be cold. Like, it's going to be cold. Like, I don't understand why the weather has become such a factor. Now, snow does affect the game, Joe. I don't know. You see anywhere from flurries to blowing snow.
Yeah, but Indiana just played Purdue in a snowstorm.
Right. And I don't think Notre Dame's going to be, because Notre Dame's trying to play a blue-collar game anyway, Joe. I mean, Notre Dame's looking to play a blue-collar game either way, whether it's nice out or not. So I don't think that it matters all that much, as big a deal as some are making it out to be. I think it's a bigger deal that SMU is going to go play in 15-degree weather in Happy Valley on Saturday. I think that's a little bit of a bigger deal, to be quite honest with you, than anything. In terms of if you want to make a big deal about someone going to play in weather they're not particularly accustomed to, I think that would be the one case. Like, even Tennessee going to Columbus on Saturday night, like, Tennessee's not exactly the Bahamas, Joe. I mean, what, you think that it's not cold there? I mean, come on. I think that the weather's really a non-factor.
I like a lot of dogs heading into this weekend. Scary. Like a lot of dogs.
Wow, turnover, Joe. JMU ball here. Deep in Western Kentucky. Turnover. Let's go.
They're going to implode.
Oh, they got it in great spot, too. Man, look at this. What's this kid doing, Joe? You know what? That might be a throw. He was throwing it. How do they even make that call? His arms, he hits his lineman's head, first of all. I don't see how that's not a pass. How that's not a forward pass.
Stranger things have happened in bowl games. You know that. I don't have to tell you.
I know.
I don't have to tell you about these bowl games.
Stranger
Depends
things
on which side the handle's on. The tipping point. Which side is the handle on?
Out of the 4 dogs, you said you like a lot of dogs this weekend, and I really only like one. And I told you I'm not playing Indiana just because I don't want to root against Notre Dame. If I wasn't a Notre Dame fan, I would maybe consider Indiana as well. There's only one dog I really like. You sound like you like a lot more. Forget the points for a minute. Which out of the 4 do you think can win outright? Outright dog win.
I think 2 can win outright. SMU and Tennessee.
So you think SMU can win the game outright, huh? You think that SMU can win the game?
Here's the thing.
Go ahead.
I know they're play bully ball. I get that. But the front 7 for SMU is legit, and they have the better quarterback. They have the better quarterback. I am not sold on Aller being this guy like everybody is.
Carver and Lisi, SportsGrid Radio, Sirius XM 159. I'll pick it up right after this.
Fall is here. It's getting cooler. Football and the World Series are coming in. Life is good. SportsGrid makes it better. Get the winning edge. This is the SportsGrid Radio Network.
The Technology Minute with George Capalbo.
Chinese researchers have created a robot that can identify plants just by touching them. Mimicking the delicate touch of human skin, identifying plant species with 97% accuracy, sensing moisture and texture machine vision can't see. The goal? An army of robot farm workers tirelessly monitoring, fertilizing, and applying pesticide to individual plants 24 hours a day, 365 days a year, increasing crop yields. Even identifying dangerous plant species. That would be poison ivy. Follow me at G Capalbo on X. And stay tuned to the Technology Minute for more cool stuff like this.
If you turned 65 recently like me, it's important you find a Medicare Advantage plan that gives you the coverage you're looking for. But finding one can be difficult. The best thing I did, and I suggest you do the same, is call a licensed insurance agent and let them walk you through your Medicare Advantage plan options. There are so many benefits you have access to, so make the call now and let the representatives explain everything to you. Our licensed insurance agents can offer you a variety of Medicare Advantage plans. Plus, the call is free, the information is free, and there's no obligation to enroll. We're here to make it easy for you to select a Medicare Advantage plan that may work for your needs. Finding a Medicare Advantage plan can be easy if you do what I did. Make a quick call right now to learn more. Thank you.
800-365-6303. 800-365-6303. 800-365-6303. That's 800-365-6303.
Fall is almost here. It's time to stow the lawnmower and get ready for all that glorious action coming your way. Stay tuned to SportsGrid for all the strategies, angles, and info you need to get the winning edge. This is the SportsGrid Radio Network.
And we're back. Carver and Lisi, SportsGrid Radio, Sirius XM 159. Great to have you aboard. All right, Joe, you were saying before we left, you think SMU can win in Happy Valley Saturday afternoon.
Yeah.
You think that they have the better quarterback play. You think that their defensive line is physical. And you think that it can happen. Now, you know why I'm hesitant. I would love to see it. I would love to see it because you know that I like watching Penn State. And more specific, people think this is a Penn State thing for me. It's not. It's a Franklin thing. I don't like Franklin. That's my thing with him.
Let me step up and say I've backed Penn State in recent years, and they cost me money and they cost me coin. Right,
sure
most
have.
notably, I was on them against Oregon. Right, I took a shot one last time. They rushed for 292 yards. They still lose the game by 8. They had Drew Aller that could only throw for 225 yards in that game. The strength of SMU is their front seven. They're holding opposing offenses to 2.7 yards per carry. Even though they gave up a lot of yards to Cade Klubnik, they held Clemson to 62 yards rushing. Now, you could say what you want, but I still would take Cade Klubnik over Drew Aller any day of the week. I've never seen Drew Aller in a big game step up and win it. Have you? So in 2 years now, he has failed in huge games. This is a huge game. And I have a kid in Kevin Jennings that is mobile and has stepped up and, lost his only game as a starter by 3 points last week. Because when they lost that game to BYU, he wasn't the starter. So, you know what? I'll take my shots. And I understand the competition's a little bit, it's the ACC versus the Big Ten. But who was Penn State beating? Where's the marquee win on Penn State's resume? Illinois? And think about all the games that Penn State as a favorite at home failed to step up. Ball State, they left laid 34.5. They win it by 7. They trailed at half 24-20. They laid 28.5 to UCLA. They win it by 17.5. They laid 18.5 to Illinois. They won it by 14. So where's the marquee win at home? Am I wrong?
All right.
I mean, tell me where I'm wrong.
No. That's all fine and good. It's just they do win these games. They do win these games.
I know. But
I just feel like the other. Here's my problem. I just feel like the other shoe is going to fall with SMU at some point. I don't think they're that great. I really don't. I think that they were benefited, and I talked to you about their schedule in July, Joe. I was telling you about SMU in July. This schedule is they could navigate this to an ACC title game. And not only did they won. And I think it also helped them, Joe, that the team they played in the ACC title game, they played Clemson. I don't think, and they lost to them. Lost to Clemson.
Right.
They still got in the playoff because, they got themselves high enough where it would have been really unjustifiable for the committee to put Alabama in over them. for them to drop them that many spots with the way that they lost. I just don't think they're a great football team. And James Franklin, since he's been at Penn State, usually feasts on teams that aren't great football teams. They just usually do.
Right.
And I think that that's going to happen here again. It's unfortunate. I hope they give him a game, but it just seems like a bully ball situation for Franklin on Saturday and Penn State. I just think it feels like it. But I hope that you're right, Joe. Now, I'm totally with you on the other one. I think that Tennessee absolutely can win this game on Saturday night in Columbus. Absolutely win. I don't think that I think we've seen already enough from
right if they lose.
He's finished if they lose. I played a clip today, Joe, with Pharrell on Coast to Coast. I mean, he's still talking about losing to Michigan. Like, he's still talking about it. It's been like a month, and they're still talking about the Michigan game. He's finished. They lose on Saturday night. He ain't be the coach at Ohio State anymore. He's not going to have to worry about it. And honestly, Joe, the way they are over there, he could probably win a couple games here, and they still won't be happy with him. They care more about that game than the playoff, Michigan game.
See, I just think, tell me where, I just think Tennessee is like not viewed at as elite, but they have speed.
Right.
And they can run the football. And if Michigan can run it, and that was more blue collar, like slow, methodical, Ohio State's in for a game. I'll tell you why. Because from a pace perspective, there's nobody outside of Oregon that plays at that pace in the Big Ten that they have faced. Minnesota, Penn State, and they struggled with Oregon, right? And so now this is an SEC offense and defensive lines that Nico might only have to throw it 10 times in this game.
I think the biggest thing for me, Joe, is their defensive line I think they're gonna take Ohio State to the cleaners. I really do. I think that big, physical Tennessee defensive line is gonna give Will Howard all kinds of problems and get through that, because they got injuries on that line. Ohio State's been playing down. That line hasn't been great this year, and they're missing guys. I just think that they're going to have a field day. And
under
you know what?
Over, Carver, what do you think? Under or over there? A lot of people think under. Can we get the over in that?
45.5, huh?
Yeah, it's going to be cold. It's going to be.
I think the game, Joe, is in the 20 to 14. 21-17, 20-14 type of range. It's going to be I just don't see this game being 45-38.
Here's the thing, too.
You're right. Going.
Here's the other thing, too. People are making a big thing, Ohio State at home, right? And Franklin at home. You don't think that those two games at home, they're going to be like, it's like great to be at home, but these are two coaches that are so much on the hot seat for not winning big games that you almost want to be on the road in that atmosphere. Things go sour in the first quarter for both of these teams. They might start their own fan base might implode on them, right? I mean, that's another thing. Like, to be at home and to know the pressure of these games is, I don't think, so much of a benefit. I mean, I'm not talking about like the Texas and Georgias of the world and those teams, the teams that have been there, done that. I'm talking about these new teams that are hosting home games that all of a sudden have pressure and their head coaches are on the hot seat and they're expected to win by double digits. And all of a sudden, first quarter, you're staring at 10-0 deficit in the mirror. What happens then?
Yeah, it's going to be a problem for them. It certainly is. I think Tennessee's going to win the game outright, to be quite honest with you. Oh, now that is a fumble this time, Joe.
What happened?
Western Kentucky just picked up a 4th and 1. They were moving the football. And now, I don't think this one will come back. The one before came back, but that certainly looked like a fumble to me on there. 3 minutes to go.
And he stripped it. And now they have the chance for the sizzler, the field goal.
Yeah,
because
but
how many
the
timeouts they
problem
got?
is Yeah, I know, but that's the thing. Will they go for the sizzler or will they drop? Will they run the whole game out? Is the problem here? Enough
I think
first
if it's
downs
4th and long, you go to ice it, don't you?
If it's 4th and long, yeah. But if they pick up a couple first downs here and make them use all their timeouts, they'll probably do the whole "we don't want to rub it in" thing in a bowl game, which nobody ever likes. Last thing on this: of the 6 teams, there's 6 teams obviously 7-1 or lower to win the whole thing, and then there's 6 teams 25-1 or longer. When you come back, tell me, any of the 6 that are 25-1 or longer have any legitimate shot of winning the entire thing? Yeah. You think any of the 6 teams 25 or longer could do it? Oh, they're going to go for it here, Joe. This kid's going to run it inside, down to the 10. Carver and Lisi, SportsGrid Radio. Sirius XM. We're back after this.
Yeah, it's getting cooler. Football weather is here. Stay tuned for all the latest odds, strategies, and info. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid. This is the SportsGrid Radio Network.
The new SportsGrid app is now available on iOS and the App Store. Experience the ultimate sports betting companion that provides personalized content from your favorite hosts. In-depth matchup previews, game and prop picks, live odds, stats, scores, and more. All in one place. And of course, on the SportsGrid app, you can tune into our live television and radio coverage anytime. On the go, wherever you are. Download the SportsGrid app on the iOS App Store now. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid. The SportsGrid Radio Network presents This Date in Sports History.
In 1956, former Yankees shortstop Phil Rizzuto signs on as the team's radio and TV announcer.
Well, hi, everybody. Welcome to New York Yankee Baseball. I'm Bill.
The Scooter was a 7-time world champion and won the AL MVP in 1950 and was elected to the Hall of Fame in 1994.
And if dreams can come true for me.
For SportsGrid Radio, I'm Mike DeMurgis.
SportsGrid TV and radio networks are the premier streaming video and audio channels dedicated to serving the sports wagering audience. Found on major smart TV platforms and streaming on SportsGrid Radio and Sirius XM Channel 159. SportsGrid's real-time data, expert commentary, and entertaining analysis transform viewers into informed sports enthusiasts. Our weekday radio lineup begins with the early line at 8 a.m. Eastern with Ben Stevens and Donnie Rightside. Donnie joins Kevin Walsh on Money Line at 11 a.m. Eastern, followed by Football Full Circle at noon Eastern. Kaplan and crew join the party at 1 p.m. Eastern, and Pharrell Coast to Coast keeps things rolling from 3 to 6 p.m. Eastern. Get in the mix with Kevin Walsh and Game Time Decisions at 6 p.m. Eastern. Evenings simmer with Carver and Lisi, then boils over with Gabe Moritzi on Sports Rage Late Night at 10 p.m. Eastern. To find out where to find SportsGrid that's best for you, go to sportsgrid.com. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid. No way football is playing in the fall and winter because the hits don't hurt as much when you're numb. Get the lowdown on all the sports action coming up right here. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid. This is the SportsGrid Radio Network.
And we're back. Carver, SportsGrid Radio, Sirius XM 159. James Madison's inside the 10, Joe. It's a 3rd and 3 here. Now, this is specifically the situation I was talking to you about. Western Kentucky's got 1 timeout left. You know, if they stop them here, 4th and 3 inside the 10,
they would kick the field goal.
They would kick it to go up 10, right? I mean,
yeah, like why would you risk? Because if you get stopped, then there's still, you know, you would kick it just to ice the game, you know?
Now, if it's 4th and 1, I don't know anything about this coach, but if he had any stones, he might do the gamble, you know. And
yeah,
just go
4th and 1 is different, but like this, you could ice it with a first down, right? Take 3
He gets a first down here. He gets inside the 5. I think they're gonna.
Oh, they're not getting it now.
They're not getting it now.
3rd and 8.
Oh, they 3rd and 8 now. Move him back. Move him back. Move him on back.
What do I have in this game for the show? James Madison or the under?
You have the under in the game. 52
what?
and a half. 52 and a half. So, all right, I gave you a question before the break. 6 teams, 7-1 or better. 6 teams 25-1 or longer. Tennessee, SMU, Indiana, Arizona State, Clemson, Boise State. Who's got the best shot to actually have a chance to win, if any, or none? You might say none.
Wait a minute.
None have an actual
So you
shot.
said 25 or greater, right? That's what you told me.
Tennessee's 25, SMU's 40, Indiana's 40, Arizona State's 80, 60, Clemson 60, and Boise 60.
Yeah, so the only one I would bet on, two. I would bet on Tennessee, and I would take a shot on Dillingham and Arizona State. And the only reason why I say that is forget the quarterbacks, take them out of the equation. Both of those teams can run the football. Obviously, Tennessee's defense is much more legit than Arizona State. But when you have a dominant rushing attack in this type of situation, you can control clock, and your defense at times can be rested. And that's why Arizona State, I've been very, very impressed with the front seven of Arizona State. They get after it. They're opportunistic. They put up pressure on opposing quarterbacks. I think they've done a fantastic job. And Dillingham, knows landing if he ever meets up with them in that type of situation. So give me both of those teams. I think they're both legit. I don't think SMU is built for the long haul. I don't think Clemson, unless Clemson strikes the upset, then that's another thing. But Clemson, big picture, hasn't beaten anybody of significance this year.
I don't disagree with you on that. That's for sure. I think that
don't get me wrong. I would love to take Dabo, but I just, they're not built like that this year,
See, my problem with, Tennessee obviously has the players to do it, and it's going to be 4th down and 3 here, Joe, or 4th down and 4.
You kick it, right?
James
you
Madison.
You kick it. You got to kick it.
I think you got to kick here.
There's
because
no way
of where you are, the distance.
Yeah,
I think you kick it, I'm still going to come up short either way. Even if they came down and got a touchdown at the end and made it 27-24, it still comes up short for me. So it's over at that point. They're going to a break. I guess he's going to think about it. I don't think he's got the stones, Joe, to go for
There's no shot. Why would you go for it on 4th and 3?
Yeah,
this would be like the guy would be like Dan Campbell on drugs.
Yeah. See, I want to take Tennessee, Joe, but I find it hard to believe that they'd beat Oregon. I don't think Oregon would lose to them. I don't think Oregon's losing. I hate going chalk. I think Oregon's better than everyone else here. I really do. I think Oregon's a lot better than everyone else.
Look, I love Lanning. They were my pick to win the Big Ten. I was right, even though I bet against them in the Big Ten championship. I thought the number was off. I mean, the long shots, I'll still stick. I think Dillingham at Arizona State at 60 and Tennessee have some value. I really do. Did you see the most bet team to win it is Notre Dame now?
Yeah.
Outside. Does that scare you?
I know.
Does that scare you?
Well, I mean, look, there's 2 reasons why they're the most bet team. One is, and it's a combo, it's price and they're Notre Dame. I think that's a big reason for it, right? Like, you look at this point, people don't want to, play 353. I think Notre Dame at 7-1, it's the kind of ticket for these teams that are left that you could go, all right, maybe I could get a little something rolling here with 7-1 with Notre Dame and try to finish it off. I think that's why, and because they're Notre Dame. I'm surprised that they're going to be, if they win this game Friday, allegedly going to be favored against Georgia.
Now, let me ask you a question.
I don't buy it at all. But
if SMU beats Penn State,
correct,
they match up very well against Boise.
They'll beat Boise.
So that number at 40-1, if you like SMU, I'm not suggesting they win it, but maybe you get the cash out. Maybe they go down to 15-1. I'm just saying, like, the 40-1 from a value perspective at 40-1 ain't going to be there if you like them plus 8.5 like me and on the money line, right?
I just feel like one of these teams is going to be in the last 4. You know what I'm saying? I don't think this is just going to go
chalk,
because it just hasn't been college football this year. It just hasn't. It's not gone that way. It's not going to be Texas, Oregon, Georgia, Penn State. Like it's just not going to be that. I just don't see it. Someone is going to get, whether it's Texas. Me and you have discussed Texas with Arizona State potentially in the next round. You know, whether it's Arizona State, maybe your scenario with SMU. You know, one of these teams, I just feel like is going to crash the party of the last four.
I agree.
Picking the right one, Joe.
I know.
Just picking the right one that you think can actually do it. Carver and Lisi, SportsGrid Radio, Sirius XM 159. We're back here.
The boys of summer become the champions of fall. The World Series is on its way. And SportsGrid brings you every angle. This is the SportsGrid Radio Network. Carver and Lisi.
It must be Wednesday because you got me and Joe here, so it must be Wednesday.
No, that's right. You know, don't start crying. Don't do that. I only get you for 3.5 hours a week. You can't do that now. Now, I mean, we were hugging and kissing last night, and now we come right back on air, and you look like you dropped your milk. You can't do that.
It's Carver and Lisi with Mike Carver and Joe Lisi. Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Fridays, 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 Pacific, on the SportsGrid Radio Network.
Do you use the expensive blue or yellow pills to charge your sex life? Are you thinking about it? What if we can promise you the same results for less than $3 a pill? If you're paying $20 a pill for the other pills, you're getting taken to the cleaners. Our pills deliver the exact same results for less than $3. You'll save more than $16 a pill for the same results. And right now, radio callers will get 44 blue or yellow pills for $120 with free discreet shipping. You can save more than $700 off pharmacy prices. Charge your sex life now and save a ton of money. Call now and get your 44 pills and save over $700 and qualify for free shipping. Stop overpaying and call right now.
Paid for by Steel Man Pills. 800-823-3851. 800-823-3851. 800-823-3851. That's 800-823-3851.
The new SportsGrid app is now available on iOS and the App Store. Experience the ultimate sports betting companion that provides personalized content from your favorite hosts. In-depth matchup previews, game and prop picks, live odds, stats, scores, and more. All in one place. And of course, on the SportsGrid app, you can tune into our live television and radio coverage anytime. On the go, wherever you are. Download the SportsGrid app on the iOS App Store now. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
Get sports gaming strategies and information 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Everything you need to get the winning edge. Right here. All the time. No wonder the wife says you never listen to her. This is the SportsGrid Radio Network.
And we're back. Carver and Lisi, SportsGrid Radio, Sirius XM 159. I got a fun one for you, Joe, to end this, and then we'll do some NFL at the top of the next hour. So you could parlay teams to make the semis on FanDuel. So you can go, there's a tab there where you can go playoff parlays, and you can pick teams to make, 4 teams to make the semis, or 2 teams, 3 teams, however many you want to pick. So let's take our formula that somebody crashes the party.
Okay.
I kind of took it maybe too far, and I put 2 that crashed the party. So how about Arizona State?
Yeah.
Which is plus 320 to make the semis.
Where do you see this again? You're on the playoff parlays, right?
Playoff parlays, and you see how it has each team to make college football playoff semifinals?
Yep.
You could put the yeses together.
Oh,
you could parlay the yeses here. So Arizona State's plus 320. Now, what do you think? Have you seen the look at it? What would they be against Texas, Joe? What would they be money line against Texas? Probably plus 320.
900.
Is that?
No. They're talking hypothetical line, Carver's what? They have the hypothetical line out. They would have had they would be 13.5-point dogs. 580.
Okay. Either way, plus 320. Oregon minus 138. So I put the chalk, the heaviest chalk in there.
Yeah.
Notre Dame plus 158. Because they are going to allegedly be a favorite over Georgia if they win this game against Indiana. And then I put your theory in there as well with SMU, plus 450. So Arizona State, Oregon, Notre Dame, and SMU. I probably went too far. I should have only put one in. But it got too juicy, Joe, because I was able to get it up to 100-1 with the four of them together. So 100-1, $10 bill gets you 1,000 for a gas, for a little laugh. 10 for 1,000. You got two teams in there that are already in the next round, Arizona State and Oregon. Right. And if Notre Dame and SMU win this week, you'll have 4 of the 8 teams left. To go and got to get them all into the semis.
So outside of Arizona State, you had Notre Dame, and who was the last one?
I put yours that's SMU, which is what boosted it up so high. But SMU, Notre Dame, Arizona State, and Oregon.
Oh, you put Oregon in there. You put Oregon. Okay.
Yes, I did put Oregon in there. So
okay, so that's juicy.
It's juicy. It's kind of stuff that you like, which is why I did it. That's something that would pique your interest. Having that in there.
$200 pays 20 G's.
You can't put that much on it. It's too much. It's nonsense to put that much.
For the gas.
Yeah, for a gas. I mean, me and you have different levels of gas, I guess. A gas for me is a $20 bill. Gas for you is, $200. So that's fine. But
no,
I'm just saying.
100 pays 10 grand.
Yes,
I mean that's juicy. So we would need just so you know, SMU would be hypothetical line 6.5-point favorites over Boise State.
I know that.
Arizona State would be 13.5-point dogs. Notre Dame would be what?
I've seen 1.5 as a favorite over Georgia, basically a pick. Which I don't believe. I don't believe. I believe that Georgia should be the favorite, but that's because of Beck. That's because of Beck not playing, which is why they have that line there.
That's tough. That is tough. But
you can mix and match, Joe, and come up with another one if you.
A hypothetical line with Georgia and Indiana is only 6.5.
I would run probably with Georgia to the window.
I mean,
run.
They got, and I know it's a neutral field, but they caught. Would they catch against Ohio State on the road at 9.5, 10?
Yeah,
and they got 10. It got as high as 13.5 at one point, right? And as low as 9.5. They got smashed by you. And let me tell you something. Georgia,
well, it's all based off the quarterback. But it's all based off of the quarterback. I firmly believe that Kirby's going to have that kid.
Fall is here.
3+ weeks. He's going to have that kid ready to go.
Yeah.
In that area. You're going to have him ready to go, as far as I'm concerned. 27-17, Joe. James Madison won this game against Western Kentucky. So, nice job by the Dukes. Their first ever bowl win at this level. Carver and Lisi, SportsGrid Radio, Sirius XM 159. We got another hour to go. We're back on the grid right after this.
Fall is here. It's getting cooler. Football and the World Series are coming in. Life is good.
SportsGrid makes it better.
Get the winning edge. This is the SportsGrid Radio Network.
The SportsGrid Radio Network presents This Date in Sports History.
In 1933, the National Football League Championship, the first title game of the NFL, was held at Wrigley Field. The Chicago Bears beat the New York Giants 23-21. The Giants took a 16-14 fourth quarter lead, but Bill Carr's 19-yard touchdown reception in the final 2 minutes gave Chicago the championship in front of 25,000 fans. For SportsGrid Radio, I'm Mike DeMurgis.
The Technology Minute with George Capalbo.
Chinese researchers have created a robot that can identify plants just by touching them. Mimicking the delicate touch of human skin, identifying plant species with 97% accuracy, sensing moisture and texture machine vision can't see. The goal? An army of robot farm workers tirelessly monitoring, fertilizing, and applying pesticide to individual plants 24 hours a day, 365 days a year, increasing crop yields. Even identifying dangerous plant species.
That would be poison ivy.
Follow me at G. Capalvo on X, and stay tuned to the Technology Minute for more cool stuff like this.
The sharpest football contest show in the land, the Las Vegas Football Contest Show, focuses on Circus Sports Million, Circus Survivor, and the Westgate Super Contest, handicapping the games and releasing our contest picks every week of the season. With two former Super Contest winners, Grady Cannon and James Salinas, a former NFL player, Mike Pritchard, and over $1 million in contest prize money won combined, the Las Vegas Football Contest Show will have you prepared this season like none other.
You're listening to where real winners go for actionable insights and expert perspectives on daily sporting events.
7 days a week.
It's not a secret or anything.
I mean, we have a promotion budget for Pete's sake.
This is the SportsGrid Radio Network.
Ladies and gentlemen,
Please welcome.
It's the opening kickoff with Carver and Lisi.
All right, here we go. Carver and Lisi with you. SportsGrid Radio, Sirius XM, channel 159. Great to have you with us here on the grid. Big football hour ahead. We got a lot to do. NFL Week 16. You got game Thursday night, 2 games Saturday, full slate Sunday. Game on Monday night. Next week, there's games on Christmas, Thursday, Friday, blah, 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 blah. There's games all over the place for the NFL coming up over the next few weeks as they start to take over Saturdays. Although, I got to tell you, there's Saturday games this week get bumped out of the way for the college football playoff. So that was not – I understand why they had to do it because they wanted to give those teams playing Christmas the right amount of rest. But that is a college football day coming up here. On Saturday. No doubt about that. We've got the LA Bowl about to start. I just saw Dan Mullen out on the field getting some B-roll, I guess. He had the camera out. He's taking pictures. He's doing all that. So new era for the Rebs out there in Vegas after Odom ran out to Purdue. So a lot to do. Mike Carver and the encyclopedia of college football, the one, the only. Go for the 2, Joe Lisi. Hi, Joe.
Hi, Carver. This is it, baby. A great week coming up.
This
the
is
calm
it.
before the storm. College football playoffs, week 16 of the NFL. Nothing better. This is it. Gotta love it.
This is it. You do gotta love it, Joe. And we have a lot to do this hour. We have to do the SGP for the Chargers and the Broncos, which is on Thursday night. We have to do the picks for all the bowl games Thursday and Friday. And then Friday night, Joe, we'll do the picks for, I got to tell you, Joe, Friday night's going to be busy. We have to get in basically every game that's going to happen for like a week. Like we have to go through a whole week worth of bowl games and make sure that we get them all in on Friday night for our picks going forward. So let's start here. A lot of things, a lot of storylines and a lot of things going along in the NFL with 3 weeks to go. We've hit week 16, including a lot of quarterback changes, Joe. Now, some of them are kind of ho-hum. Who cares? You love DTR, so I'm sure you're glad he's going to go play in Cleveland. That's one of your guys, that Dorian Thompson-Robinson. Who cares? I mean, wake me up when he actually ever does anything. You have Drew Lock will be back for the Giants. The Titans are finally done with Levis. I guess if you bench a guy they're starting Mason Rudolph on Sunday. So I guess if you bench a guy, multiple times. Is that it, Joe? Do you finally get to pull the cord if you bench him that many times? I'm not so sure. But the one that obviously has garnered the most interest is Michael Penix will start for the Falcons against the G-Men, Big Blue on Sunday. We were on last night, Joe, me and George, and it's funny, we were kind of having the discussion with Matthias, who's the resident Falcon fan here, about what are they going to do, because Cousins has been awful. And for the first time, Morris really wasn't very committal yesterday afternoon about what they were going to be. And Matthias said, I'd start Penix.
Whoa!
And sure enough, 20 minutes later, the news came out that Penix was going to start on Sunday against the Giants. I know you love this kid, Joe. Look, Cousins sucked. I mean, it is what it is. I know they gave him a lot of money, but you got to win your last 3 games. You got to win all 3 of them. I think you get the kids' feet wet against an awful football team in your own building on Sunday. I don't mind the move by them.
No, and they're chasing a red-hot Tampa Bay team. Let's not forget Tampa Bay Mike Evans looked off the hook this weekend. 159 yards, 2 touchdowns. Baker looked like he was playing back in Oklahoma, shredding that Chargers secondary. So if you have any shot to potentially catch them, and even if you have an opportunity to, let's say, go toe-to-toe with some of these teams in the playoffs, if you make it, if they do, you need a passing attack.
I will tell you, George actually last night alerted me to this. There is a backdoor, a very legitimate backdoor scenario for the Falcons if they don't catch Tampa. Because I think Tampa will win their last 3 games and have 11 wins. And if the Falcons won their last games, they would only have 10. But here's the thing, Joe. They got 7 right now. Washington has 9. Washington's playing Philly this week, right? I mean, that's tough. Philly's been very good. That they're not going to win that game. And if the Falcons beat the Giants, suddenly they're 1 game back. Who do the Falcons play next week, Joe? Washington.
Yeah.
With a chance to get even with them at 9, and they'd have a head-to-head over them. So suddenly there is another avenue for the Falcons if they can win these games. And I don't think Cousins was just so bad, I don't think they would have won all 3 of the games with him in there. Now, we're also asking a rookie quarterback who's never made a start in the NFL to go and win these last 3 games and get you in the playoffs. So that's tricky as well, Joe.
It is, Carver. So again, we'll see. Penix has been battle-tested, played in the national championship. Again, when he doesn't have game experience, though, he got in against Denver, didn't even get a chance to really toss around the football. You have to give him an opportunity to chuck it, right? So we'll see. Let's see what happens. But again, still think Baker and that team are the best team in the division, and they're playing like it now. They have one of the best rushing attacks in the NFL. They can pound the rock as good as anybody, Carver. So let's see what happens.
And Evans with a chance, Joe, to do, as I like to say, a gold jacket stat for Mike Evans. What does he need? He needs I think it's 250 yards.
Yeah,
something like that over the last 3 games.
406. Yeah, he had 159. So
1,000 for 11 straight seasons. Only other guy who's done that, Joe, is Jerry Rice. Yep. That's called a gold jacket stat for Mike Evans. Right. You can go and get that one. So, and I think he will. I think he'll smoke it because he'll probably get another 100 against the Cowboys on Sunday night when they go and play them. So I could see him. Obviously, they're heating up right now. Now, one last thing on the Penix stuff. I know they're playing the Giants, and the Giants are awful. But are you willing to lay 7.5 with a rookie quarterback making it? Imagine a rookie quarterback making his first start, laying 7.5 in that game. Laying.
No.
Giants are awful.
I know. They're terrible. They're terrible. But who's a better coach? Raheem Morris? Raheem Morris sucks. I'm sorry. I hate to bash the guy, but I haven't seen it. But he's terrible. Better? No, I think Dable sucks too. I think they both suck. But here's the thing. When you have two teams that can't step up, look at how the Falcons played down to the level of competition against the Raiders. Forget how bad Kirk Cousins was. Raheem Morris's defense couldn't contain Des Ridder. I mean, let's call it what it was. That team put up. I mean, So when you look at two garbage coaches, two garbage teams, I mean, you're giving me 7.5 points. I'll take the points.
Look, I won't touch the game, Joe. I got plenty of other ways I can spend my money on Sunday. I don't need to spend it there. But I would have to think that if Penix doesn't look great, that they would just give the ball to Bijan Robinson 50 times and have him take them home. Right? I mean, wouldn't that be the way to go if things aren't going well?
He had a great game on Monday night.
He's had a great season. That's the kind of lost in it. He's had a great season.
Too bad Arthur Smith didn't realize what he had. Too bad Arthur Smith didn't realize.
I'll tell you, you watched Ritter the other night. I forget, were we saying this last night, Matthias? Either me or George, or maybe I forget who was saying it. That's sure. I think it makes Arthur Smith look better that he actually was able to win 7 games with these hacks that he had the last few years. Ritter is god awful, Joe. He is awful.
I know.
Playing quarterback. Oh, he is so hard to watch. Carver and Lisi, SportsGrid Radio, Sirius XM Channel 159. We'll come back. More to do right after this.
And SportsGrid has you covered with strategies and info on football, baseball, and everything else. This is the SportsGrid Radio Network.
Know someone with a drinking or drug problem? Learn how to get sober after we share these stories.
I was 35 with 2 beautiful children when my life and addiction started to spiral out of control. After my divorce, I went into a depression cycle and started drinking more often and using prescription drugs. After my second DWI and arrest, my ex-husband threatened to take our children away from me.
I was 17 when I became addicted to heroin and meth. I thought I could quit on my own, but I couldn't. It hit me when I was arrested.
Get sober now. Your private insurance may cover costs and we'll get you here. It's simple. Just call Elite Rehab Placement right now. Please don't wait. Your life matters to us.
800-959-6348. 800-959-6348. 800-959-6348. Call right now before it's too late. That's 800-959-6348.
Pharrell, Coast to Coast.
Is there anyone more Madame Tussauds than Antonio Pierce? My man is like a wax doll, standing on the sidelines, staring into the abyss of his crappy coaching career in the NFL. He's no more of an NFL coach than I am. He is terrible. I'm not wrong. I will argue until I'm blue in the face.
It's Pharrell, Coast to Coast with Scott Farrell. Weekdays, 3 p.m. Eastern, noon Pacific. On the home of the winning edge, the SportsGrid Radio Network.
The sharpest football contest show in the land, the Las Vegas Football Contest Show, focuses on Circus Sports Million, Circus Survivor, and the Westgate Super Contest, handicapping the games and releasing our contest picks every week of the season. With 2 former Super Contest winners, Grady Cannon and James Salinas, a former NFL player, Mike Pritchard, and over $1 million in contest prize money won combined, the Las Vegas Football Contest Show will have you prepared this season like none other.
Days are getting cooler and shadows are getting longer. You know what that means? It's football weather. So bundle up and keep it here for all the latest strategies and gridiron information. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid. This is the SportsGrid Radio Network.
And we're back. Carver and Lisi, SportsGrid Radio, Sirius XM 159. Great to have you with us here. All right, Joe, Cal's getting the ball for the first time here. C.J. Harris playing quarterback for Cal this evening. So this is the guy that, and look at this, Joe. They come right out running the rock, 5-6 yards a clip. Let's go.
Jaden Ott, my guy, 80, 90 plus.
Run it.
Give it to Ott.
Run it.
Let him eat.
Let's go. Let Ott eat here.
Don't take him out. Oh.
That's your boy, Will Cox. You know, this guy, he's just so gutless.
I want them to run it 100 times in this game.
He's not going out. He went out wide, Joe.
I know. It looked like they were taking him out.
mean,
This
they were
game
trying
is
to
a
throw
dead
it to
under.
him. It wasn't there. This kid stinks, this Harris. Oh, my goodness. All right, Joe. Thursday night starts Week 16 with the Broncos and the Chargers. Broncos coming off that game where it looked like things were going real bad for them at home against Indy, and then Jonathan Taylor and I can't believe how often we've seen this year in the NFL with these guys dropping the ball before
you
the goal
tell me.
line.
I mean,
It just
what is up with that?
makes
You tell me. What is
makes
that? What is in
no
their head?
sense whatsoever. But that completely changed the game, and Denver ended up rolling them right after that. So Denver comes in. The Chargers, lost to the Bucs. We were saying before, Bucs smashed them in SoFi. The game's in L.A. It was 3 earlier this week, Joe. It's 2.5 now, with a 42.5 total. I'll tell you, I think if this game was on Sunday, I'd feel a little bit better about the Chargers. I thought Herbert looked real banged up on Sunday in that Buck game. I didn't think Herbert looked good at all. And the offense doesn't look the same when Dobbins isn't there. When Dobbins isn't, and the Diss man, Will Dissly, not being out there has actually hurt their offense too. I know I'm probably in the public side of things here, Joe, but I like Denver in the game, honestly. Peyton's done a good job. He's been blue collar on the road.
I think I like the under, and I like the Chargers. Number one scoring defense. I don't think they throw it. I think they run it.
I think it's an under, too. I think it's an under. I think it's a dead under.
They've had problems against the run, Chargers have. They gave up some yards to Pacheco. They gave up Bucky Irving in the second half. So that could mean what?
This is not the primetime game to be loading up on props. It's just not. This is not.
This will be the one that'll be like 40-30. Watch, right? Nobody saw it coming.
Like the Denver played one of those with Cleveland a couple weeks ago on Monday night.
I
played one of
even
those.
tell you. You know what kills me? I had 250 for Herbert on Sunday. They trailed the whole second half. He had 130 yards at half. This guy finished with 195. He can't get out of his own way. His offensive line sucks. I don't know, Carver. I don't know. What do you want to do? You want to take props? What do you want to do? How do you want to do it?
I know. I feel like we're belly aching here. How are we going to come up with the SGP? Is kind of how since we're belly aching about all this stuff. How about, why don't we start it off? I mean, I know last Thursday we didn't have any touchdowns at all. Man, did that game suck. But I think we'll at least get touchdowns. Like, this Gus Edwards, like, all they got to do is, why don't they just let this guy hammer it home every time they're inside the 5? I guess they haven't been getting inside the 5. I mean, he's plus 190, Joe. I mean, you're telling me that Kamani Vidal's the guy who's going to get the burn inside the 5? I mean,
so you want to take Gus Edwards?
Could we get the Gus bus in the end zone here?
All right, take the Gus bus as one of the legs.
So let's put Gus bus. I mean, it's plus 190. This is Harbaugh's going to run if they get inside the 5. He's giving it to him. He's going to run the football.
I'm going to make my second leg because this guy has burned me. Troy Franklin, 25 plus at 20 plus 144.
All right. Well, at least you're staying light with it. 25 plus. That's all right. What do they got him at for 20 plus $1.44? All right. I'll get Troy in there. We can get Troy in. Troy Franklin. You know what happened? There's some real heroes on these two teams. I mean, it's Ville, the Mims, like all these guys. They are just home wreckers, man. I mean, one week they got 70, 80 yards. The next week they got 6.
It's not, I tell you this, it's not going to be Marvin Mims. I can guarantee that right now. It's not going to be Marvin Mims.
All right, I'm going to put in.
It's not going to be Mims.
I'll tell you, I've watched this just because I happen to have seen the Chargers the last couple of weeks. Since this Dissly got hurt, this Stone Smart has come in and he's made some grabs.
This guy, Stone, don't take Stone Smart. Come on. Take somebody else. Take Palmer or take Quentin Johnson. Come on. Take somebody.
Stone Smart.
Don't
You don't want to go with him?
For how much?
40. Stone. How about this? I'll do a rushing.
Yeah, do a rushing.
How about
Quentin Johnson
Vidal
touchdown.
For 40? How about Vidal for 40?
All right. Yeah, we're in. Yeah,
Kimani Vidal for 40.
leg.
And I hear Matthias talking about Quentin Johnson. Quentin Johnson could get lost. I don't want
Quentin
anything to do
Johnson
with that
touchdown.
guy.
Touchdown.
Yeah,
That's it.
no thanks.
Not receptions,
I
not yards, touchdowns. He scores touchdowns.
Yeah.
That's what he does.
Will
He
you
might
stop?
catch one
Go ahead,
ball, but it's
Joe.
in the
Tell
end
him.
zone.
Just worry.
Stone hands. Don't throw it to Stone hands. That's what he is. Stone hands.
Why don't we do? You want to do Herbert Alt? Make it like 200.
We're very Charger heavy here already. We don't got anything for the Broncos we could put in. Have anybody
I'll
yet
figure
for
it
the
out.
Broncos you like?
I'll figure it out when we come back.
Carver and Lisi, Sports Grid Radio, Sirius XM 159. We're back after this.
Fall is coming. Don't look like an idiot at work. Know your stuff. Football and everything else. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid. This is the SportsGrid Radio Network. SportsGrid TV and radio networks are the premier streaming video and audio channels dedicated to serving the sports wagering audience. Found on major smart TV platforms and streaming on SportsGrid Radio and Sirius XM Channel 159. SportsGrid's real-time data, expert commentary, and entertaining analysis transform viewers into informed sports enthusiasts. Our weekday radio lineup begins with the early line at 8 a.m. Eastern with Ben Stevens and Donnie Rightside. Donnie joins Kevin Walsh on Moneyline at 11 a.m. Eastern, followed by Football Full Circle at noon Eastern. Kaplan and crew join the party at 1 p.m. Eastern, and Pharrell Coast to Coast keeps things rolling from 3 to 6 p.m. Eastern. Get in the mix with Kevin Walsh and Game Time Decisions at 6 p.m. Eastern. Evenings simmer with Carver and Lisi, then boils over with Gabe Moritzi on Sports Rage Late Night at 10 p.m. Eastern. To find out where to find Sports Grid that's best for you, go to sportsgrid.com. It's smarter to be on Sports Grid. Pharrell Coast to Coast.
Kirk Cousins with his first touchdown pass in 5 games, and the easiest one maybe he's had all season.
Are you listening to this guy? Kirk Cousins has been an utter disaster with the Atlanta Falcons, an utter disaster.
It's Pharrell Coast to Coast with Scott Pharrell. Weekdays, 3 p.m. Eastern, noon Pacific, on the home of the winning edge, the Sports Grid Radio Network.
The SportsGrid Radio Network presents This Date in Sports History.
In 1956, former Yankees shortstop Phil Rizzuto signs on as the team's radio and TV announcer.
Well, hi, everybody. Welcome to New York Yankee Baseball. I'm Bill.
The Scooter was a 7-time world champion and won the AL MVP in 1950 and was elected to the Hall of Fame in 1994.
And if dreams can come true for me.
For SportsGrid Radio, I'm Mike DeMurgis.
Right before your very eyes, the boys of summer are about to become the champions of fall.
MLB playoffs are coming.
And SportsGrid will bring you all the angles, strategies, and info. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid. This is the SportsGrid Radio Network.
And we're back. Carver and Lisi, Sports Grid Radio, Sirius XM, Channel 159, here with you. We are putting together quickly the SGP for the Broncos and the Chargers, which, of course, is Thursday night to kick off Week 16. We have Edwards for the touchdown, Troy Franklin, 25-plus, alt, and Kimani Vidal, 40-plus yards rush. Joe, we need the last leg. Unless you want to do a Charger, you can.
No,
Stop. I hate when we go 3-1 when the game's going to be close. If it's a blowout game, I get going 3-1. But a close game, I like to even out the scales.
Cortland Sutton for 40 yards.
Okay.
Is that enough?
I mean, Joe, it's like minus 350. I mean, I've never seen you pick something like that before on the SGP.
Because I just don't have any confidence. Then there it is. There's my guy. They finally put him in. Josh Palmer. We'll go with Palmer. That's my guy. So we'll go Palmer. Where is he? You want to go Palmer? Let's go.
They don't have an alt for him.
Let's do receptions then. 4 plus 205.
4 grabs?
Yeah.
All right, Joe. 4 receptions for Palmer.
Juicy.
4 receptions for Palmer. Gus Bus-Tutty. Vidal for 40 yards rushing. And Troy Franklin for 25 yards.
Yeah.
It's a it's a big number, 49.97.
So let's do it.
It's a fat number.
You like it?
Yeah, I mean, let's put it in. Sounds good to me, Joe. Let's go.
Right, I'm in. We're in.
We gotta hit one at some point, right?
I guess I don't know. I'm punch drunk with it, you know. We'll see.
Matthias keeps yelling about this Quentin Johnston. He's such a money burn.
He's on a money burn. He
burn.
scores touchdowns. Most touchdowns on the team. It's not even close.
I forget what week. He had a week where he had no catches. It completely burned me. I can't with this guy.
I lost with McConkey this past week. I had him at over 5.5 catches. He had 4 in the first quarter. He had about 4 drops later in the game. That one hurt. But you know what? I think McConkey gets over 5.5 this game. He's looking at him every single time he throws the ball. It's his number one go-to guy, without a doubt.
Throw him to Palmer now. We want Palmer.
I like Palmer, too.
Oh, look at this, Joe. Cal, he's off to the races, your boy Ott. Ott's on the run. Oh, they caught him at the 25. That was a long run.
How long?
Ott, at least 35, 40 yards. I mean, he ripped off a good one. Big run for Ott. What'd you play him, Joe? You played Ott? What'd you play Ott
straight. 90 and 100 at plus 370 and plus 280.
You gotta be early here, Matthias. I hear Matthias. You gotta be early here. No, I mean, that's not time for that. You're not even close.
What's going on here? It's all right. All right. It's okay. I played him for 80, 90, and 100 with the under.
80, 90, and 100.
He got 52 already.
That was a good run.
Give him the ball. Give it to him. Here he goes again. Jay Knott. Give him a block.
There he goes, Joe. He's moving.
Right. My guy.
This is your guy. Ott's going to be the guy here in L.A., in the L.A. Bowl. Going to be the MVP of the game. Line him up and knock him down, baby. Let's go. Let's go. All right, so there you go. We got the SGP. We'll put that in. I wanted to say that we'll come back. I want to go through just a couple things with you. And then at the 44, Joe, we'll go through all those college games for Thursday and Friday and make sure that we have those picks in on the ledger for us.
Do it.
So we will get through all of that. But I want to ask you about, I want to actually not really ask you anything. I want to tell you about Mahomes, something that I'm sick of, and a few other things. Carver and Lisi, SportsGrid Radio, Sirius XM 159. We're back after this.
Loser is kind of a mean-spirited slur. But it doesn't have to stick. Tell them to listen to SportsGrid and fix it.
No, thank you.
Later. This is the SportsGrid Radio Network.
Moneyline. I heard a voice out there. I see a Steelers shirt. Let me rise up in my seat here. Rise up in my seat. Rise up! It's Dave Sharapan. What is the deal, brother?
You know what it is.
Yeah.
It's Steelers-Eagles week. The PA battle. The Eagles Super Bowl.
Catch Moneyline with Donnie Rightside and Kevin Walsh. Weekdays, 11 a.m. Eastern, 8 Pacific. The new SportsGrid app is now available on iOS and the App Store. Experience the ultimate sports betting companion that provides personalized content from your favorite hosts. In-depth matchup previews, game and prop picks, live odds, stats, scores, and more. All in one place. And of course, on the SportsGrid app, you can tune into our live television and radio coverage anytime. On the go, wherever you are. Download the SportsGrid app on the iOS App Store now. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
If you turned 65 recently like me, it's important you find a Medicare Advantage plan that gives you the coverage you're looking for. But finding one can be difficult. The best thing I did, and I suggest you do the same, is call a licensed insurance agent and let them walk you through your Medicare Advantage plan options. There are so many benefits you have access to, so make the call now and let the representatives explain everything to you. Our licensed insurance agents can offer you a variety of Medicare Advantage plans. Plus, the call is free, the information is free, and there's no obligation to enroll. We're here to make it easy for you to select a Medicare Advantage plan that may work for your needs. Finding a Medicare Advantage plan can be easy if you do what I did. Make a quick call right now to learn more. Thank you.
800-365-6303. 800-365-6303. 800-365-6303. That's 800-365-6303.
No way football is playing in the fall and winter because the hits don't hurt as much when you're numb. Get the lowdown on all the sports action coming up right here. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid. This is the SportsGrid Radio Network.
And we're back. Carver and Lisi, SportsGrid Radio, Sirius XM 159, here with you. 3-0 Cal, Joe. The kid hit the upright but bounced in. So 3-0. Good start for the Golden Bears out there in L.A. at the L.A. Bowl. We have two games on Saturday, Joe. Texans, Chiefs, Steelers, Ravens. Quite a few games of significance. Now, as far as the Chiefs go, they did it again last week in terms of Mahomes gets hurt. Everybody acts like, his career's over, which happens every time he, scrapes his knee. Every time they drag him off the field, everyone carries him. They bring him to the sideline, and then he plays the next game. And he plays every. All you heard, Joe, what'd you hear coming out of that game on Sunday after they beat Cleveland?
High ankle sprain.
High ankle sprain. Not playing. He missed some time. He never misses time. When they scraped him off the field in that Jacksonville playoff game a couple of years ago, and you remember, Joe, they did that whole routine where he was fighting with Reed on the sideline, slamming the helmet, wants to go back in the game. Oh, he might be done. He might be done. They won the Super Bowl that year. He wasn't done. He's never done, Joe. I don't know why they do it. I don't know why they say that these injuries are worse there. He's a full participant in practice the last 2 days. He's playing on Saturday. I'm tired of falling for it. Like, when I see him not playing with my own eyes, that's when I'll know he's not playing. I'm tired. They could carry him off on the cart, Joe, and I think he's going to play the next week, because he always does. You're
right. I have a
God
crypto.
But I don't know if it's that they report the injuries to make it seem worse or what they do, but he's never that hurt. He always plays.
So that bothers you?
Well, it bothers me because then the other, he's not going to play, And then they open imagine opening that line with the Texans as the favorite. And they're a favorite on Monday. You can get the Texans -1.5, -2. And now suddenly, Joe, what are the Chiefs? It's probably past 3 now, right? I know it got to 3 this afternoon. 3.5 now. Chiefs -3.5. So it just keeps going up, and away for you. Whatever.
I love
they're not
this
losing
game.
anyway.
I tell you what.
You love this game. You love this game. Okay.
This is you want me to give it out now or Friday? It's going to be part of the picks.
Well, you give people a taste now. You could still use it as one of your picks on Friday, but you can give it a taste. What do you got for this game? What are you thinking?
I love the over. I think there's no doubt this game gets into the 50s. How about that? Old
So
school
you obviously
Mahomes.
know. You obviously think he's playing. You obviously not thinking. No, he's going to
I don't
play.
care
You
if
know
Carson Wentz plays. This game
you
is
should.
shit.
Wentz sucks. You should care if he plays.
Human turnover machine is good for 14 points. Listen,
Okay.
I'm telling you, this game sails through the total. Sails through the total. No matter who plays. Sails through the total.
It sounds like one of those 5-diamond, no doubt about it, crypto Christmas specials Joe's going to have for you on Friday night.
Smash your grandmother's piggy bank. One of those type of games.
Get them all out now. Get all the nickels and the quarters out of the piggy bank because it's Smash City time for the over in the Texan Chief game. All right, I mean whatever. It's down to 41.5. It was 42.5 earlier today. So God bless and good luck, Joe. I could see it. I could also see the game being 13-3 Chiefs. So I'm not going to partake with you in that one. The other game is the Ravens and Steelers. Now, would you say, Joe, that the Steelers showed you some cracks, obviously, against the Eagles on Sunday? Would you think that now you know how here's the one thing. These two get together. It's always a close game. It's always blue collar. It doesn't matter who's on the field and who isn't. Steelers are beating them 8 out of 9. And 8 out of 9 games are all one-score games. So 6.5, when these games are always super close, Joe, that seems like a lot. Or are you smelling a rat with 6.5 with how these games are? Oh, Joe, they're always close. It's always a close game between the Steelers and the Ravens, but it's 6.5.
I smell a rat on the total. I would take the Steelers plus the points, but it does smell to me. But it is back-to-back road games. So on the road against a physical team in Philly, they lose. Back on the road now for another rivalry game with the Ravens, right? So a lot of pressure on them to step up. But again, I would still be inclined to take the 6.5. I think the rat, Carver, and we did this last time, we jammed the under at 48.5 was the total. And last time they played in Pittsburgh. Now it's only 45.5. They adjusted only 3 points.
Yeah.
So I love the over. Love. Something smells there. Rat is up. Jimmy the Rat. I'm telling you, something smells there. PU. Whiskey sour. Give me the over. Could be a double over special on. What are you shaking your head? What happened? The kid from Hajmalik Williams? What did he do?
This kid, he was open by 20 yards on this play. Cal, what is happening out there, Joe? Did their whole defense go in the portal too? Who is covering that guy? You got to be kidding me.
I don't know. What happened there? What did I miss?
It was like a 40-yard touchdown pass. The guy was wide open by a mile. UNLV. Touchdown for them. Touchdown UNLV.
Who do I have in this game for the show?
Me and you are both on Cal.
All right.
We both took Cal.
Still feel good.
Yeah.
It's early.
We're laying. Yeah,
well, that was before Mendoza decided to call it quit.
I know. Friday night, Joe, we'll go through, of course, all the Sunday action. What'd you think of I haven't talked to you. What'd you think of the Bill Lion game on Sunday?
Great game. I was on the Bills. I had James Cook anytime touchdown. I called it on Pro Football Today. Thank you.
Syndicate crew, huh? You and the syndicate crew coming through.
Hot with the best bets. Hot with the best bets.
I mean, the only guy in that game that you went home unhappy with was probably Montgomery, obviously, because he got hurt. I mean, everyone else kind of ate at some point in that Bill Lion game. I mean, I had a good hit with Laporta getting all those garbage time yards, chasing yards, I should say.
I'm mad at St. Brown. I took him down to his number 50, and he blows right through it.
He blew through it. The guy had 200 yards. He was unbelievable. There's a lot of really bad games too Sunday, Joe. There's a lot of bad ones. What do you think of the Vikings in Seattle? What do you think of that game?
Like Seattle.
Big kick return, Joe. Big kick return to the 20 for Cal, but there's a flag.
All right, let's run. Yeah, there's a flag, though.
There's a flag. That sucks.
What happened during the return? Here we go. The refs are against us. We're dead to rights with this. Unbelievable.
Yeah, that sucks. But here's the one thing, though, Joe. Big plays here. This game's it's opening up early. Opening up early with a low total.
Yeah, I still think it's an under.
Okay.
That's good. I need Jaden not to get the rock. Keep running this guy.
Keep running him, Joe. We'll come back and do the picks for all the college games Thursday and Friday. Carver and Lisi, SportsGrid Radio, Sirius XM 159. We're back after this.
Yeah, it's getting cooler. Football weather is here. Stay tuned for all the latest odds, strategies, and info. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid. This is the SportsGrid Radio Network.
The SportsGrid Radio Network presents This Date in Sports History.
In 1956, former Yankees shortstop Phil Rizzuto signs on as the team's radio and TV announcer.
Well, hi, everybody. Welcome to New York Yankee Baseball. I'm Bill.
The Scooter was a 7-time world champion and won the AL MVP in 1950 and was elected to the Hall of Fame in 1994.
And if dreams can come true for me.
For SportsGrid Radio, I'm Mike DeMurgis.
Football Full Circle.
I'm telling you this right now. Best bet for the weekend could be the over. Kansas City and Houston. I think this game can get into the 50s. Wentz, no Wentz. Mahomes, 80% healthy. I think C.J. Stroud and that offense try to light it up. I lean overall to Houston plus the points. The over's my best bet.
It's Football Full Circle with Ben Stevens and Joe Lisi. Weekdays noon Eastern, 9 a.m. Pacific on the SportsGrid Radio Network. SportsGrid TV and radio networks are the premier streaming video and audio channels dedicated to serving the sports wagering audience. Found on major smart TV platforms and streaming on SportsGrid Radio and Sirius XM Channel 159. SportsGrid's real-time data, expert commentary, and entertaining analysis transform viewers into informed sports enthusiasts. Our weekday radio lineup begins with the early line at 8 a.m. Eastern with Ben Stevens and Donnie Rightside. Donnie joins Kevin Walsh on Moneyline at 11 a.m. Eastern, followed by Football Full Circle at noon Eastern. Kaplan and crew join the party at 1 p.m. Eastern, and Pharrell Coast to Coast keeps things rolling from 3 to 6 p.m. Eastern. Get in the mix with Kevin Walsh and Game Time Decisions at 6 p.m. Eastern. Evenings simmer with Carver and Lisi, then boils over with Gabe Moritzi on Sports Rage Late Night at 10 p.m. Eastern. To find out where to find SportsGrid that's best for you, go to sportsgrid.com. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid. Fall is almost here. It's time to stow the lawnmower and get ready for all that glorious action coming your way. Stay tuned to SportsGrid for all the strategies, angles, and info you need to get the winning edge. This is the SportsGrid Radio Network.
Got 4 games we're going to do. Since we're back together on Friday night, there's only 4 games between now and then. One of them will be on while we're on Friday night, which is the big one, Indiana, Notre Dame. So we'll give that pick now, and then we got a lot of games we're going to do on Friday. Thursday night, 1 game tomorrow, up against the NFL game, is the New Orleans Bowl, which will have Georgia Southern and Sam Houston getting together. Now, I believe, Joe, this is the first bowl game for Sam Houston in their history, right? Since moving up
just named
to this level.
Phil Longo coach for next year. offensive coordinator at Ole
Now,
Miss and UNC.
This guy Keeler left for Temple, right? The coach,
Right.
the guy who's been at Sam Houston's gone. And they've got, the list, Joe, of Sam Houston transfer portal
is horrible.
There's got to be 20, 25 guys on this list. It is very thick, but some of them might play. Apparently, most of their transfer portal guys might play.
But here's the problem: they're going to play until they don't play, right?
Right.
And we'll find out. I'm
Meanwhile,
sure we'll find out.
Georgia Southern, not a lot of guys on their list in terms of transfer portal.
I like Georgia Southern. Clay Helton in that group. Give me Georgia Southern.
Georgia Southern for you, minus the 4. I got 4.5 right now, Joe.
Can we give Ott this ball on 2nd and 3? Can we feed this guy? Give it to with the throws. Like we're throwing the football, we're at midfield, 2nd and 3. The kid's rushing. He's playing his ass off. Can we benefit this guy?
I am for my pick, Joe, for this game, I am taking the under 48.5. For Georgia Southern and Sam Houston State.
What's my pick?
You said you wanted Georgia Southern minus 4.5. You want that or not?
Yeah.
I'm taking under 48.5. Most of these Sam Houston State games are blue-collar games. They're very low scoring.
Already. All orange and all blue. Did you see?
That's great. All orange and all blue for them. I'm going to take the under.
Cal. Tackle this guy. All right.
It's in the ledger now, Joe. Under 48.5. Okay, next.
We give this guy the ball. Yeah, next.
Friday, triple header. Only one game of real importance, which is the night one. But let's do the afternoon first. We will start the day at the Cure Bowl, which is in Orlando, right, Joe? They play that game in Orlando. Yes, at Camping World, which hosts several bowl games.
I don't
you
like
have
that
Ohio and Jacksonville State in this game.
No head coach.
Well, neither team. The Ohio guy took the job at Charlotte, and Rich Rod obviously took the job at West Virginia. So
touchdown, Cal.
Jacksonville State's got a lot of guys in the portal. Touchdown, Cal. Look at him go, Joe. Look at him go. This game is opening up in a big way. Let's go, Cal. What do you think here, Joe? Ohio and Jacksonville State. I've got minus 4.5 for Ohio with a total of 56.5. Whew.
I'm gonna go.
That's heavy, man. You think that? I know Ohio's
Camping World. Is this the game that Miami played in a couple of years ago with Oak State?
No, that's the Cheez-It Bowl, which is now the Pop-Tarts Bowl, I
could have sworn they played that game in Orlando, though.
But there's like 3 or 4 bowls that are played in this stadium. They played a Cure Bowl there. They played a Pop-Tarts there. They played what's the Capital One Bowl, whatever. They play a bunch of games at this
All right, let me just see something quickly. I'll give you my pick. So,
all right. Well, in the interim,
this was the game last year. Okay, App State and Miami of Ohio. All right, the last 2 have trended to the. I'm going to go under 56.5 for the sake of the show.
I gotta tell you, Joe. I have to do a checker on a checker with you. This number is way too big.
Can't do it
for me.
Not for both of those teams. No way. Can't do it.
I'm gonna go with you, Joe. So checker on a checker, which we've had a couple, and it's gonna be Ohio under for Ohio and Jack State at 56 and a hook, which is ridiculous. All right, Friday afternoon, the Gasparilla Bowl, which is in Tampa at the Pirate Ship, right? That's at Raymond James.
Yep.
And you get Florida against Tulane. Now, let me give you the laundry list of problems here. You know that Tulane's lost a lot of guys, including obviously the quarterback Mensah, who's going to Duke. They've lost a bunch of other starters. I mean, Joe, they're on their fourth quarterback, Tulane, for this game. Florida's got a lot of guys too. But, Joe, I know Tulane's been good the last few years, but when you start getting into the third and fourth level of Tulane players, and you compare that to the third and fourth level of Florida players, I think you know what I'm getting at. The third and fourth level of Florida players, I would say a fair amount of them would probably start at Tulane. Would you have in terms of their probably coming out of high school talent? Would you be fair to say that's a fair statement, Joe? Would you go with me on that?
Yeah, it's a fair statement, but I'm going to take the points with Tulane. I like the coach at Tulane, Summerall, and I think they can run it, shorten the game. I'll take a shot. That's way too many points. That is way too many.
So you're taking Tulane
plus the
11.5.
Yep.
I'm gonna lay it, Joe.
All right.
I think that
Summerall.
Napier's gonna
Give
pay
me
back
Summerall.
everybody. Napier's gonna pay back everyone for keeping him this year, and he's gonna have the big party in Tampa with all the boosters, and they're gonna blow out a very shorthanded Tulane team in the Gasparilla Bowl. Carver and Lisi, we're back on the grid right after this.
The boys of summer become the champions of fall. The World Series is on its way, and SportsGrid brings you every angle. This is the SportsGrid Radio Network.
The Technology Minute with George Capalbo.
Chinese researchers have created a robot that can identify plants just by touching them.
A common shrubbery.
Mimicking the delicate touch of human skin, identifying plant species with 97% accuracy, sensing moisture and texture, machine vision can't see.
That's a very good practice.
The goal? An army of robot farm workers tirelessly monitoring, fertilizing, and applying pesticide to individual plants 24 hours a day, 365 days a year, increasing crop yields. Even identifying dangerous plant species.
That would be poison ivy.
Follow me at G. Capalbo on X, and stay tuned to the Technology Minute for more cool stuff like this.
Do you use the expensive blue or yellow pills to charge your sex life? Are you thinking about it? What if we can promise you the same results for less than $3 a pill? If you're paying $20 a pill for the other pills, you're getting taken to the cleaners. Our pills deliver the exact same results for less than $3. You'll save more than $16 a pill for the same results. And right now, radio callers will get 44 blue or yellow pills for $120 with free discreet shipping. You can save more than $700 off pharmacy prices. Charge your sex life now and save a ton of money. Call now and get your 44 pills and save over $700 and qualify for free shipping. Stop overpaying and call right now.
Paid for by Steel Man Pills. 800-823-3851. 800-823-3851. 800-823-3851. That's 800-823-3851.
No way football is playing in the fall and winter because the hits don't hurt as much when you're numb. Get the lowdown on all the sports action coming up right here. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid. This is the SportsGrid Radio Network.
And we're back. Carver and Lisi with you, SportsGrid Radio, Sirius XM 159. Joe, you sent me that thing about the JUCO players.
Yeah.
So that was the thing with Pavia today from Vandy. So he was looking to get a year added because he wasn't able to make NIL money in his JUCO years. He feels like he should be able to play more. So that, like they said, it's going to open up a lot of things for guys who play JUCO.
This is crazy.
Then,
let's say we're going to have
35
years. We're going to have. It's going to be 35-year-old kids playing college football against 18 and 7. It's going to be like Kramer going up again. Remember the old Seinfeld episode where he fights the kids in the doji?
The karate,
the dojo?
The dojo.
He's beating up on 12-year-olds. I mean, come on. What are we doing here, Carver? What is going on?
Joe, this is your college football. This is what
Carver,
it's become. I mean, this is what has happened. You wanted this. You wanted the kids to get compensated.
Stop.
You wanted a lot of things.
Yeah.
You wanted, conference expansion. You wanted all these things, and now this is what you have. You gotta pay the penalty now.
Let me ask you a question. Why do these kids even go to the NFL? They're going to be making just as much money. Why even just be a professional student for 12 years? That's it. What is your job? I'm a professional college football player.
We got one more pick. Is the Friday night first college football playoff game. Notre Dame and Indiana in South Bend. Going to be cold. It's going to be snowy. And it's going to be the victor on their way to play Georgia. And I believe the Sugar Bowl, Joe, is where they'll have that quarter. Irish minus 7.5. 51.5 the total, Joe.
I'm taking Indiana for the sake of the show. I like Cignetti in this spot. Again, I don't know if they win it, but I want over a touchdown. I'm willing to take the Hoosiers. Not to take away from Notre Dame, but I want the dog on the road with the in-state rivalry. Give me the Hoosiers plus the points. I think the game leans to the under, but I feel like a lot of people will be banging the under in this game, so I don't want to touch it.
Wow, you're going right after him, huh? You go right out there and go after him. I thought you were going to take the under. I thought you were going to make it nice and easy for me, and just. But since you're going to do that, I'm going to come after you. I'll take the Irish minus the 7.5.
I knew you were hanging in the weeds. Hanging in the weeds.
I'll go right after you.
Dragged you right out. Dragged you right out. You saw the turnip and you came right out of the brush.
By the way, this game is out of control now. UNLV's in again, 14-10. This game could get into the 60s, Joe. The way that this thing's going right now, this is going to be out of control. Notre Dame minus 7.5 in South Bend against the Hoosiers. 24-10, 27-13, somewhere in that area. They're going to grind them down, Joe. You thought Indiana couldn't do anything against Ohio State that game at the shoe? Get ready for Friday night. They're going to have all kinds of problems with the mighty Irish D as touchdown Jesus will be looking overhead, getting ready. Less than a week to Christmas for him. Irish, Joe. Let's go.
All right.
I'm not going to lie.
I want to ask you something quick.
I am nervous about
because
it. Yes,
I brought this up to Kay Walsh because he's a big Lincoln Riley guy. Have you noticed Lincoln Riley and USC haven't gotten
Lincoln Riley guy?
They haven't gotten one marquee transfer. This guy is dragging this team. All he is losing players. He hasn't gotten one elite guy.
Well, maybe
he's dragging this program into the ground.
Maybe he's got he likes the young crop that he's got. Maybe it's the young kids that he's brought in and he's recruiting. Maybe he wants to.
He's going to bolt. He's going to bolt. He's going to bolt.
Where? How could anyone give him a better job than what he had?
NFL would.
The NFL would hire him off of these last couple of years at USC.
Jerry Jones.
They're not getting rid of McCarthy. McCarthy's going to be the coach in Dallas next year. You can write that down.
How is that possible?
What do you mean, how is it possible? It's the first bad year he's had, and they're playing hard for him down the stretch with a busted up team and no quarterback. He's going to be the coach next year. They're not getting rid of McCarthy. And the biggest reason of all, Jerry, he'll do whatever Jerry says. Jerry doesn't have to worry about Mike pushing back on him on anything. He likes yes men, and that's what McCarthy is down there. I don't see where Lincoln Riley's going to go. Joe will be with the Syndicate crew tomorrow night for the Chargers and the Broncos. Me and him will be back together. We'll be on during Notre Dame and Indiana Friday night, right here on the grid. Carver and Lisi, great job on the Matthias Profile. We'll see you Friday. Have a good day.
Luck is winning the lottery. Strategy is settling your divorce before cashing in the ticket. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.